This week in the news, we talk about the Vercel data breach and what are the implications of that. Given that more and more people are vibe coding these solutions and more people are using them, who's considering the security needs? Who's thinking about how these are locked down and secure? Really interesting topics that we need to think about in this future of everyone building their own software. We also then close out today with a live demo of Claude Design, the new design tool that Claude's been hyping. Is it worth the hype? Well, we do a live demo where from scratch, we build out a marketing site and presentation deck for the AI Operators podcast. And so that's really interesting to see what it's capable of. And you can decide for yourself whether you think it's a tool worth your time. If you think AI Operators is worth your time, please make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and as always, comment. Comments help the algorithm tell people about this, so this is good content that they should know about. We appreciate your support, and we'll hope you enjoy the show. All right, welcome everyone. We're here. We're a few minutes late for our midday start. Hopefully everyone, that gave them time to get their lunch, get at their desks, and lock in for some great AI Operators talk. How are we all this week? Have we? I've got a headache, so let's see how we go.
No, I'm doing great. It's been an awesome week so far. I was just saying before, like shortly before joining the meeting, one of my automations that the customer's using broke, and I was like, oh no, what's changed? Like normally OpenAI has pushed something or someone made an update that just destroys something. But it was fortunately just the customer changed the column name to be slightly different, and the AI was looking specifically for that column name. So that was a quick little win from like, oh crap, how are we going to fix this to, oh no, it's just a user error. That's all.
Just put the app in an ice bath. That'll fix it, right, Marno?
That could work, yeah.
Style.
I actually missed it last night. I didn't go for the first time in I think 6 months. I wanted to spend some time with the missus, so it was a quiet night at home, which was nice.
Very good. Ladies, I should welcome and introduce, like Amber, you've been with us before, but Manjula, welcome to the show. You're new here with us.
Yeah, really excited to be here. Thank you.
How's everyone's week been? Amber, you're pretty busy at the moment, are you? Running shows and doing things?
Yeah, it has been quite wild. But it's good. I'm enjoying it. I'm just going with the flow, riding the waves. So I've had a bit of travel and speaking up north. So I've just come back from Cairns, speaking at an event there, promoting AI Automation Australia. And yeah, I'm enjoying, like, it's fun, you know. It's
any crocs or jellyfish up there? Did you enjoy the weather up in Cairns?
It was so beautiful, like palm trees galore. Just didn't want to leave.
Nice.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, we're enjoying chilly winter onsetting down here. Like you're in Brisbane, right? So it's not super wintry there. It never really gets super wintry in Brisbane.
No, but it's still cold. Like I feel the cold, like even in summer. So, but yeah, no, it's not too cold at the moment.
How's it in Kalgoorlie, Marno?
It's been ridiculously cold. I mean, cold for us is like 20 degrees. But no, it's very, very cold at the moment. I think got down to 12 degrees last night. But that was about like 9:30. So we had not a cyclone, but we had like a bit of a dust storm come through 2 days ago. And for some reason, after like the hottest dust storm ever, like the wind was just like slapping you. Like it's so like hot, humid air. And then shortly after that, it's just cold. Like even the aircon's turned off because it's too cold now. Yeah.
And Manjula, if I step out the back door and yell loud enough, you can probably hear me. We're
yeah.
It's cooling down in Western Sydney, isn't it?
It is. In the mornings, I wish if I have to drive, I wish I turned the heaters on in the car a few minutes before we jump in, and but the daytime is really nice, and I'm not complaining. Look, I come from a cold climate, UK, so I'm happy.
Fair enough. I did see this pop up on X this week. Speaking of weather, someone has built a Hermes agent that is trading weather predictions on Polymarket.
That's beautiful. Oh, I love the internet so much.
It's funny because I've, as you guys know, and we'll talk about it a bit later, I've got my Chart Reporter app for helping FX traders. And so when I think about trading, I think about money markets and things like that. I haven't explored the whole world of Polymarket where you can bet on anything at all.
Anything, like literally anything.
And so to see that people are betting on the weather, trading predictions on the weather, Wild.
I love it.
Did you see that one bloke that he went on Polymarket? He made a bet that someone's going to streak. I think it's at the Super Bowl. And then he went to the Super Bowl. He streaked, got the payout, paid the fine, and he was still up for the whole event.
I mean, that's
Clever.
that's dodgy. That's so SaaS. Like,
yeah, leverage it. The market's there.
I mean, that's like cricket players betting on the outcome and then throwing the game right on boxes. Like that's.
Yeah, it's the wild, wild west of cryptocurrency because it's so unregulated. People are just going crazy. I mean, even with the presidential election for Trump, they wanted to sue Polymarket because Polymarket was too close to the real voting power. But then in the same breath, there was also like an article shortly after that where the guy called Brian Johnson, if you guys know about him, the longevity guy.
I thought he was the lead singer from AC/DC.
No. Brian Johnson does longevity stuff and he measures everything about his health. And one of those, less PG audience, he measures his, I guess, performance, like at nighttime when he goes to bed, like how high up it gets. And then people would bet on that to say, okay, cool, what's his testosterone at during the nighttime? And then you can bet on that level, which is ridiculous.
I don't want to bet on what he's doing in the nighttime with his testosterone.
It's him sleeping. It's him sleeping, but they're measuring what his testosterone is doing while he's sleeping.
Sorry, Marno, I didn't mean to hard cut you there. My
That's
finger
fine,
slipped
mate.
on the mouse, but it's a good opportunity anyway for us to segue off
Yes.
of Brian Johnson's nocturnal habits and into a bit more of an AI operator show because people are here to think about AI and business and operations and what they're
Sure.
doing with all of those sorts of things. So yes, let's my Advil's kicking in, so I think I'm gonna be fine. Don't worry, everyone. I've got coffee, I've got Advil. We're gonna have a great show. It's gonna be fun. There's we as people know, if you're a regular visitor and tuner in, and if you're on the chat, say hello. That would be great. We'd love to hear from you and hear where you're at and what you're doing. But we're going to talk about some of the news and things that is happening in the world of AI, and I'm keen to hear from everyone what you're seeing in the news. So let's talk about the news.
Welcome to the AI Update. Let's look at what's happening in the news.
We didn't have that last time you were with us, did we, Amber? We didn't have the little stingers and stuff.
No, but I would love to know, like, is there some kind of highlights first and then for the operators to speak into? Because that would be cool and quite entertaining.
As far as
Like
a clips reel.
today, tonight, blah, blah. And you know how they do like the quick
No, I'm not that organized. That would require a lot more of me preparing for this show that I haven't done because I'm busy as all of you are trying to build business and run business. And so while this is an important part of what we do and we want to add value, I don't have time to create whole clips of highlights of this week in the news. But there is a lot of things. And so one of the things that, like Marno, you said your app broke. One of the things, my app didn't break, but I had to get ahead of it and roll all my API keys is because Vercel had a breach. Do you guys hear about this Vercel breach?
No, do tell.
I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but basically someone, social engineering, someone got into, some guy at Vercel left their keys at the pub or whatever, or someone whispered sweet nothings in their ear and they gave them their password. I don't know the exact story, but there was some issue where Vercel employees what do you call the login? Credentials.
Yeah.
His credentials were picked up and someone got access into Vercel systems and stole a whole bunch of their encrypted at-rest data and then traversed further into the system and took more data. And so they sent out an emergency thing saying, hey, some people, like all your keys were encrypted, but just for double checking and for safeties, you should go and reset all your API keys that you were storing on our servers.
Wow.
Yeah. And I have my app hosted on Vercel. And while I didn't get the critical, you must do it list, they did just say, just everyone should do it. So I was like, okay, I'll go through. I didn't realize I had like 8 API keys across 4 different systems that I had to roll. It took me nearly an hour just to go and change API keys and make sure that then the app was still working and everything hung together. And I was really spewing because well, it was actually good because one of the things I have in my app, I don't know about you guys with your apps and things, but I have some API endpoints that I have on Cloudflare, and they were using the same database key as the main site. And I actually separated them over the weekend and went, okay, the workers should have their own access database key and that because I'd got Codex to do a full review of all my code, and it found that I was actually storing my database key in some of the script files that had gone to GitHub and stuff. So I was like, okay, I need to roll all my keys anyway. Thank you, Codex, for finding that. And so I just split the key. So fortunately, I only had to change it in one place there, but it just was a huge thing to go through and roll all these keys. So if you were doing anything with Vercel, go in, and to Vercel's credit, they got ahead, they told people. And when I went into the platform, it actually had tagged next to all my environmental keys, said, re-roll this one, re-roll this one. So it actually told me which of the ones that it realized were the ones that I should be replacing. So
I'll be doing that.
And
Amber's like, I've got to leave this call now. Sorry, guys.
I hope everyone got that message that they've got to roll their keys, because imagine if Vercel hasn't been able to communicate with everyone.
Yeah. So here's a news article from
it's the
Micro on it.
That is not the fun stuff, like the back end, that back end.
Yeah.
So how do I compromised third-party OAuth application and with long-lived password-independent access to Vercel's internal systems, demonstrating how OAuth trust relationships can bypass traditional perimeter defenses. The impact was amplified by Vercel's environment variable model, where credentials not explicitly marked as sensitive were readable with internal access, meaning that any team whose access was compromised, non-sensitive environment variables were exposed without additional controls. It's one of these weird, like, and as I was going through, I was thinking about it, and the way, like, if you've ever created an API key, normally in most systems you get to see it once, and it says, make sure you save this because you'll never see this again, because then they encrypt it. And then when you go to authenticate, it actually does the encrypted to the encrypted, and you never see the real one. But Vercel, when you save these things as environment variables, while they're saying it encrypts it at rest, you can still see the raw version in their web interface. So they version that you're saving there, which is where this sort of thing comes in, where all of a sudden, like, you can look at any of your keys anytime.
And it's a shame we can't get Claude Code to, roll all of our keys for us, because you've got to manually put them into the file so that they're kind of not being pushed up to GitHub and all of that.
Well, and also you don't necessarily want your keys in the LLM being indexed.
Exactly. Being compromised, right?
Yeah. So whenever, like, you've given your LLM access to a key for doing some kind of testing, before you push that out to anything, you need to re-roll that key. So yeah, that was a pretty big news thing that impacted me personally, and I've gone and changed the most essential stuff. A few things that might be like the contact form on one of my websites. I haven't gone through and done all of everything to the nth degree yet. I've got to go and do a full audit, but my main SaaS app, I went through and made sure all my Superbase keys and everything were re-rolled.
Yeah, you're thinking about a couple of applications I'll have to go back to now, but damn, it sucks.
Yeah, I haven't started Vercel yet, so I'm all right for now.
I've got some things up there on there. But no, it's good awareness, Dave. I appreciate that.
I mean, a few comments. Matt, he couldn't join us, but he's joining us. It makes you think how many keys we leave in plain text on our own machines. 100%.
Oh, too many. 100% too many.
Sean's warning: the only keys that weren't flagged as secrets so far. So yeah, like, it does mark the ones, but double check all of the things that you've got as environment variables. Just double check anything that you think is critical and needs re-rolling. That could be a risk. So, it's pretty crazy. And I know some people don't like Vercel for various reasons, and so maybe they're like, "See, this is what I'm saying. Put it on somewhere else."
There's always another person to argue, because when Cloudflare went down, everyone's like, "Oh, Vercel's the best." Vercel's going to go down. Everybody's like, oh, Cloudflare's the best.
Yep. That railway's next, right? Sorry, Matt.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just about like you're always going to get hacked. It's just about when, and then making sure you are protected when that happens.
And depending what scale you're operating at, like someone like me with my SaaS app, it's fairly early days, limited number of customers, limited impact, limited sort of, as they say, blast radius. But if you're running higher value, higher production things that with multiple users and business critical application sort of environments, that's where you've got to start thinking about, multiple fail safes and running on different servers and having fallbacks and so on. So having more advanced infrastructure, which, we'll get into this a bit later, but and when we discussed this last week where we were discussing where do you need humans in the loop? Like, do you need humans? Can you just agentify everything and have a single person business with no other experts and just humans? But where do you get the knowledge to know these things?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is a good conversation. It's good awareness. Like this is the kind of conversations I think people would really appreciate, especially around the things that would protect them as a developer, anyone using AI, because even from a, whether you're a developer or whether you're someone hiring someone to do dev, they want to make sure that everything's safe and secure. So I think this is a great conversation to have, not, more than once, just to help people put things in place.
Yeah.
That's a great part. Whenever I meet with any clients, I almost show them the Have I Been Pawned website, where you type in your email address and see if you've been breached. And that's almost always a shocker, because if they've had a Gmail account or an account for more than 5 years, they have been breached. They just don't know about it. And then immediately they're like, oh crap, like what's happened? But then luckily it tells you, okay, if it's been passed, if it's usernames, or if it's just photos. But that gives them into that right mindset of like, okay, crap, it's not that it's not happening to me, that I'm special. It's that maybe it's happened in the background and you're not aware what's actually going on. I mean, a fun way is even looking at your Microsoft login attempts. You'll probably see there's hundreds per day happening all around the world, but you just don't see it, especially now with AI. It's all prominent. It's constantly going, and it's running at such a pace that we can't keep up. But that's why you put in the protocols to make sure you stay safe.
Yeah, and phishing and social engineering is still one of the biggest risks, right? Like I'm getting emails apparently from my own HR department of my current business that's mine, and I don't have a HR department, sending me documents to download and things to sign and warnings about new policies, and I'm like, far out. Like if you're in a big organization, you didn't know any better. You just see this thing come in, and you go, oh, HR needs me to sign a new thing. Like it's crazy.
It's easy, isn't it? It is scary, because you're right. People do take, they just all work on autopilot. They just trust the fact that it's come from a higher level than them. So.
Yep.
And then,
sorry,
go on, Amber.
No, I was going to say, I see we've got Doug from California. That's really cool.
Hey, Doug.
Brilliant. Great to have you with us, Doug, on LinkedIn. Yes, we're streaming on LinkedIn. Good to have you there. Another thing that popped up in the news when it comes to this vibe coding and experts and thinking about infrastructure and engineering, which the vibe coding engines don't necessarily do. They just do what you tell them to, and they do as much as that. And I saw this one pop up on the LinkedIn. Can you read that one? Is that popping up? Which is a vibe coded SaaS shut down 72 hours after launch because users figured out they could upgrade themselves to Pro by changing one value in the browser. The founder built it entirely with AI, zero handwritten code. The checkout flow worked. Stripe payments, processed payments, subscribers got access, but the app decided premium access based on a database field that any authenticated user could update. Open dev tools. So that's the old SQL injection thing that we've talked about. So people just push to the database that they're a Pro user, no payment required, no RLS, row level security, and they were fully upgraded. Now it's interesting that they just shut down it, or whether they shut down and regrouped. But this is like, again, these vibe coding things, if you don't have the engineering understanding or expertise, or you don't get the right adversarial prompts in place to challenge these things,
could be dangerous.
Yeah, like even myself, the fact that I have my database key in some scripts, I'm like, when did that happen? I don't know when that happened. At some point, it picked it up out of my .env file and bolted it in as a fail-safe. It's like, oh, use the key or just use this hard-coded value. That's what was in my script. And I'm like, what is going on? Why would you do that?
Mm-hmm.
I've had the same thing happen
Yeah.
with the paint. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, like it will just go and do its own thing, and you have to really be across it. You can't just make assumptions like, oh, it's fine, it will bite you later. So I think having it is really good to get across knowing how, what to look for, how to pull it apart, how to challenge it. I think that I know there's a lot of talk about, oh, we're going into an era where will be no coding and all this kind of stuff, but I actually think that's a little bit, I don't know, not dangerous, but how do we do the checks and measures? How can we ensure that these agents aren't, well, that they're safe, they're doing the things that we need to,
And they generate so much data so quickly. Having a good audit trail is really hard, and then having the ability for humans, and maybe it's not so much humans all the time, but getting away from some of the AI stuff back to the deterministic, just code. Just code that if you put in A, it's always going to provide you B, like it actually verifies and checks things and looks for these things and flags them, because we're only getting more automated. And more of these agents, whether it's the Hermes agent or the Open Clause or Claude Cowork and all these things that are great accelerators. Like, it's amazing. For this show this week, and I'll save it for the wins of the week. I'll come back to that.
I do want to add there, like, I feel like a key word you said there and used was verify. It's very much that approach of trust but verify. Great methodology, like, rather than, okay, cool, we have to read every line of code, is being aware and putting up the guardrails. And I know Blake Sims, part of the community, that's part of the chat as well. His school community course, it's purely operating on this first principles and fundamentals approach, but then understanding that you can set up guardrails to still help you navigate that. So you don't have to review 20,000 lines of code, but knowing how to leverage the AI to do the work, but also check the work. And then you just verify it before you publish it online. So there's this phased approaches rather than just vibe coding it into a live production site, which is just bad practice regardless of what you're doing. I'm taking the same approach as, like, if you bring in a new employee, if it's a person, you're not even going to give them full access to admin side. You're just going to get them to do their jobs and slowly trust them and build up the credibility. And once they've passed those entry jobs, then you'll give up more access because you've actually trained them in how to think. But if you don't do the training, it's going to make mistakes.
But even like then, like, there's a certain point where you can only trust to a degree, I think, with those things. And this comes across different models. Like my thing, I built it mostly in one platform. Like, a lot of my app was built in anti-gravity using a lot of Gemini. And then I got Codex to do the adversarial review. And as many of you know, you've been following for a while, I often call my adversarial security agent Kryptonite, because looking for the weaknesses and the weak points. So I get Kryptonite to run a full security review, but different models are going to pull that apart and look for different things, right? So getting different models, you like anyone, you don't check your own work. You don't go to a trivia night and get tables to mark their own sheet. You always pass it aside and get someone else to mark the homework.
I think, sorry,
Amber? No, Amber, go.
I think there's two elements here. One is having a level, just some foundations, just understanding of what to look for. I think Blake's, like, I've been doing his school community, and I tell you what, it has made a huge difference. So it's given me the confidence to just, I'm not looking at a screen and it's just gibberish. I can actually understand it. So I think there's a level of having, building yourself with the confidence and having some kind of awareness what to look for, just from a base level. And then the second thing is having, obviously, agents that can challenge and do the whole audit, everything as you go along, because that's how the API key got exposed. The agent told me, I'm like, you need to change this straight away. Okay, so having that agent to bring things to my attention as things are getting built in real time, like, I think that's it's a step that I think a lot of people do miss, but it's a step that you can't miss.
Yeah, and especially people that are just using Lovable and Bolt, which have their place. But if people are trying to push production apps, and I'm guessing, I don't know, but that case where they shut their SaaS down after 72 hours, I would almost bet money on Polymarket that was that was a Lovable build, where they've just pumped something out very quickly and it's all on one platform and didn't have the user probably didn't even know what row level security was. They've never thought about any of that kind of stuff. They just went, oh no, he built the database for me. And look, it's there. And look, it brought, because I know people that have built lovable things and they're like, look, and it's got Stripe and it's got everything. And, you know, it's got everything for everyone to see. But I mean, Sean makes a great point here that given the volume of code that these things can ship compared to human, it needs to be reviewed, verified. That kind of failure is something that's going to keep happening with purely vibe coded solutions. So, and you know, people are getting more and more confident with these agents and things because MasterCard accelerates AI-powered commerce with Australia's first authenticated agentic transactions using Agent Pay.
Yeah.
So now they're creating special payment processing cards and credit unlocks for OpenClaws and agents and stuff. So that way you can give your AI a budget and tell it can go and buy stuff.
Interesting.
Wild.
Curious to see if they're going to get the support. I mean, there's a big push from the built not bought. Why would we still use them? We can just build our own payment processor using cryptocurrency, for example. Why would we want to give them another percentage if they already have 70% profit revenues? I mean, it's a cool initiative. I love the initiative. I'm here for it.
Because fiat currency still rules the world, mate. We're not all running on Bitcoin or Ethereum.
That's for humans. What about the agents? What makes more sense for them?
Look, I think it'll be interesting to see how blockchain currencies and stuff evolve with this new generation, but people still think in dollars and cents.
Yeah, no, I see the argument. I see the point for both, and I'm keen to see where this goes. But I'm curious, trying to think long term. Where are we going to be when the agents are doing the work? Like, you're at a disadvantage if you're trying to follow traditional paths. So, what does the next level look like?
I'm with you, Marno, and like honestly, I feel like the gap is actually the influence behind a shift. So like
that.
We are, as Dave just said, you know, the norm is still dollars and cents. You know, requires, I guess, those big people to influence people to make the change. And I think that's probably where we're going to see things really move towards.
More people need to read the Bitcoin Standard and get orange pilled and head down that path. All right, let's talk about. I think that's enough news headlines. Let's talk about how we've gone with wins of the week. Week.
I appreciate it. I really do love the little Shazam, like the show. Yeah.
I do like a good stinger. I mean, I grew up watching shows like David Letterman, where he was big into having little segment intros and things like that. So, I'm a fan. Any wins of the week? But I'm happy to share first if you want me to kick off, or I'm keen to hear from all of you.
Go for it.
So we talk about all these agents and doing stuff, and they do produce so much data. So I've got in Cowork set up, I've got my daily routines. I get a dawn email, I get a dusk email, and I've got a heartbeat that fires every hour, just reviewing through all my linear tasks. And it knows, you know, every second hour do this and every third hour do that. So it's not trying to do everything every hour. And I've got it connected into Linear, which I'm using as a sort of my task management board system. And I can put comments in Linear and it will read the comments. And then on the next iteration of the heartbeat, it'll actually do some work on that and allocate it to one of my sub agents to do stuff, all within Cowork. Like I'm not running any fancy OpenClaws or anything. And so prepping for this week's show, I was like, okay, Matt dropped out. That's great. Matt's busy. He needs to focus on that. I was like, that's cool. And I reached out to Manjula and you were kind enough to say, yep. And no, Richard was away. I was like, well, we're still a person down. So I reached out to you, Amber, and welcome back. It's great to have you here. But it was prepping me based on last week's transcript. It was going, oh, you're going to talk about harnesses this week. So send out a brief to the team that we're going to talk about harnesses and go into this and that. And I was like, oh yeah, but Matt's not going to be there. And like those from all the transcripts that Matt's deep in the harness conversation that we were talking about last week with Natalia. And so I said, oh, but I'm going to bring in Manjula from Lime Digital. And that's all I put in there. And in the next hourly beat, it goes, oh, I don't know who that is. I need to research that person. Then in the next hour, it came back and said, cool, here's my research dossier on Limes Digital and the smart syllabus assistant work and blah, 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 blah. And then I said, okay, cool. And I'm going to bring in Amber. And again, it's sort of I was just commenting on Linear, and every hour my co-work was reading those notes, going away, doing some work, doing some research, doing some planning and ideation around what the show structure should be. And then coming back in the next thing with an update in Linear was wild. I was like, actually, like I was just delegating work and commenting to a co-worker, and they were just doing stuff. I didn't have to give them a lot of instruction. I even just took a punt with you. I didn't give it any links, Manjula, nothing. I just said Manjula from Limes Digital, and it went and found you and looked you up and came up with the data. It was awesome.
I'd love to see what it came up with.
I'll send you that afterwards. But yeah, but it went, and I didn't forgot to do this at the start on your intro, but it went and found out that you've got the smart syllabus assistant and what you're doing with all of that, and told me that it worked it out just from your name and your core umbrella business name. Wild. That
is pretty amazing. Yeah, I mean, I've been improving the smart syllabus assistant, and I just got off a call before I joined here. And so now I've got it picking up the syllabus from the NESA website. So teachers don't have to upload the syllabus in order to get their lesson plans spit out. So big wins happening. And for a one-person company doing this, it's like a 5-person team that would normally do this. It's just amazing.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Really enjoying myself, speaking to a lot of teachers and learning their struggles. And, I really want to get this into every teacher's hands if possible. But it's very difficult to get AI into schools because a lot of schools aren't even allowed to use AI, and they have their own thing, which is EduChat, which is comes from the department. They're allowed to use that. I wonder if I can get an API key for that, because then I can use that to do this.
Yeah, good luck. The government is a pain in the ass when it comes to that. It's so tightly knit. Even working with a company or organization in Kalgoorlie, they do a bunch of grants, and purely just like for the love of the game and supporting businesses, they just want to get the right grants in the right people's hands. That's it, right? But there's no API, there's no way for you to talk stuff. There's 5 different websites you have to manually go to, and same problem was like, no, they're building their own AI. You can't sell anything. They can't use ChatGPT. So they're so handicapped, and that's like, no, like people like yourself have built cool stuff to remove that barrier, make it easy. It's still safe, it's still compliant, but the government is just so tightly knit. So if you can find an API, go for it. But I'm now looking at like trying to get MCPs, so like a playwright MCP, to instead go and do the clicking for me. But it's just such a pain in the ass because you're trying to add value and they just constrain for no real reason.
You need to
look into the MCPs. Yeah.
Add an MCP into your app, Manjula. So I don't share so many wins a week, but I built an MCP into my chart reporter app, which was awesome because one of the things I do is, dabble trying to get algorithms to do the trading for me on the markets. And then my tool does all the capture and journaling and tagging of the results. And so now I can, within my development environment where I'm building the robots, I can then tell it to go MCP into my reporting app, pull the stats, and then do an analysis to then feed straight back into writing the robots. So I'm just using Claude code inside my IDE where I'm writing my robots, but now it can MCP into my platform to get the analytics and bring that into my development environment. So it's cool. So you could build an MCP in Smart Syllabus Assistant, and then if the EduChat allows them to add MCPs, then they could stay in EduChat, but just MCP out to you to get that stuff, maybe.
Yeah, I really love the way developers think, because they're always thinking of how to solve a problem. But if it's not a straightforward thing, they're always finding a workaround.
Yeah, there's many ways, especially with Matt. Matt is a genius of that. His brain works very, very differently. I love it. I'm envious of it.
And then the thing about schools, like they're not, teachers aren't allowed to use AI, but many of them are, and the schools, I don't know if they're like oblivious to it or.
I've got friends that are in the Anglican school systems here in Sydney, and they had a whole day on Monday with AI vendors and providers doing an AI day about AI, the whole sort of Anglican ed system. So some schools and some parts and some people are doing more or less in
Mhm.
AI, whether, again, third-party apps like yours and how you get authorized and get on those sort of lists is a
Yep.
whole different kettle of fish.
I've actually got a meeting with the what's it called, head of secondary in the diocese, the Paramount
Nice.
Diocese.
They're nice.
So yeah, I've got a meeting with them. It's a step in the right direction. So let's see what we can do together, working together
Sweet.
That'll be
That's,
to
fun
get
see,
this
yeah.
AI in.
Right.
You know.
sounds like some wins on the way. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Amber, how have you gone this week for wins? You've been, like you said, you did your tour. You were like talking about pineapples. Like what's going on with you?
Yeah. Before I dive into me, I just want to say, Manjula, you made a statement that I think that you could actually highlight further into the leads, the teachers that you talk to, right? So if they're already using AI, it's essentially like closing down that barrier, like normalizing it. So if they're thinking like, oh, we can't use AI, there's this resistance, we'll get in trouble, whatever it is, going in with you guys are already using AI, right? You guys know that. Note takers, this, that, like, this is no different. So like kind of like, closing that gap of we can't use this to, oh, we're actually already using something very similar, so this is no different. Then it makes their mind to be more receptive and open to listening to what you're about to share with them. So I find my brain's always got like a sales psychology hat on. So when you said that, I was just like, oh, bring that to your attention because that's a great angle to kind of get your foot in the door.
Yeah, definitely using that. Thanks for that, Amber.
That's okay. Yes, this week, if I just talk this week, so Cairns, I've got a webinar tomorrow. So again, I always trying to create lots of touch points when it comes to offering something. Obviously, you can't just say, hey, I've made a product, buy it from me. It doesn't work that way. I would love that, but
Know what I'm doing wrong.
yeah. Well, this is the thing. I think like it's an assumption, I guess, that we get really excited in creating a solution. It could be a really great product, but if we haven't built the relationship, we can't expect them to take it from us. So when I speak at events, it's really just another touch point, building a relationship. I love building connection. I really love, my background business consulting. So like, I really love connecting one-on-one, groups, doesn't matter, and helping them, take away their pain. And I think when it comes to business, it's been even more exciting the space I am now, because this is like this is the cherry on the top. Like you give someone a business strategy and say, this is what you need. And you probably haven't even worked out. You probably don't even know that you need this thing as well, because the pathway to growth.
Yeah.
And then you put AI on top of that, and you're just like, now we've got a freaking accelerated machine. Like,
Actually.
Yeah, I guess my wins is building more relationships, connecting with more founders, directors, hearing about their biggest pain points, hearing about what they really need, educating them what they actually need as well. Meaning, sometimes something they find painful isn't the thing that's actually going to fill the hole in the bucket. What's really leaking, what's really keeping their business stuck. So there's two different things to look at. But yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving doing all of this.
It's amazing. Nice. I love that. I'm fascinated by that psychological approach, especially from the business consulting side, because I'm finding myself, as the audience would know, and I know Dave and Matt as well, as the past 7 months, I've been part of a mentorship, trying to get clear on my purpose, the vision for the company. Why do I do what I do? And what's really the vehicle of getting me there, right? And that's gone from voice agents to just consulting to just websites. And now it's just the education side. Like finally finding something that I can do 24/7. If we're all being paid the same wage, this is what I'll do forever. Like I just love the similar thing, the connections and the education. Seeing that shift in mindset is amazing. But now going into, okay, purpose is to educate the world on the importance of ownership, and then trying to allow myself almost over the past week to shift away from, okay, you're selling AI, you're selling AI, you're selling AI, because I kept, like, I've had this fear that was unconscious of, like, I don't want to miss the hype of the AI train. But then realizing that I don't really care about AI. I care about, like, the results, and I want to help you take more ownership of your life and your business and take control of what's actually going on and getting to the root cause of why you started the business. And AI is just a tool, part of the toolkit to help you get there. And that shift of exactly that, Amber, of, like, it's letting them know, okay, this might be the pain point, but giving you more AI isn't going to solve the pain point. We have to fix this first, and the AI is just the cherry on top. It's not the foundation. Yeah.
Exactly what I shared in my talk last week in Cairns was around that, like, AI doesn't fix a broken process, it exposes it. You know,
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So getting them to think about their business, like, it's not about what AI, I got the audience to ask, like, it's not about what AI tools should I use. It's about, how is my business running right now?
Yeah.
Because, you know, if AI is the tool to accelerate growth, right? Then if you've got broken processes, and I see this all the time, like in businesses, like, there are so many things clunky that aren't working. You know, businesses don't have stops, standard operation procedures and things like that. But I think for developers, if there's developers listening, a really great way to, I guess, build trust with their prospect, with potential customer, is having the understanding around what we're talking about right now. That it's not a tool that you're selling literally the solution, and the solution starts way before the AI tool. And I think this is where audits, we talk a lot about audits and doing an audit of a business. And I mean, that's my favorite part, because that's all about business consulting, right? Because it's like digging, it's getting deep into someone's business and seeing what's not working, and bringing some options for it. But I love that, because what you're saying right now is you're really customer focused. You are, and that's the key. Everything we do isn't about us at all. It should never be. It should be about, how are we serving? How can we actually make a difference and transform someone's life, business, and so forth?
I love that, especially the word using serving. Like, that's exactly the methodology and the mindset I'm going into, is like, and the fun part is, like, the less you care about the other things, the more they just fall into place. Like, if you're just focusing on, like, all I want to do is produce this outcome. I want to take you from experiencing this pain that I personally experienced. I wanted to get away from it. I found the way. This is the way.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And it's just the best.
The mistake a lot of people make when they pitch their business and their value is they pitch themselves as the hero of the story versus the helper. So, like, everyone wants to be the hero. So don't go in there saying you're Luke Skywalker. You need to go in as Obi-Wan or Yoda, and you need to be the helper that guides them on the way to their journey to going from sort of the apprentice and the novice to the conquering hero. And so always making sure your customer is the hero of the story in any marketing and pitching that you do, and you are the helper and the assistant, the sage.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I've not thought about it that way. I think my bottleneck was, I get too carried away when I find a problem, or when I find problems. I get excited about solving them, and my brain doesn't always package it neatly first. It's just, okay, here's everything we can do to solve your problems. So I think I'll keep that on top of mind, because my current approach is just stay curious. Like, always ask why. Because it's often in businesses, whether it's new businesses or old businesses, they're doing something because the person before them told them this is how you do it. They never took the time or had the time to think about what's the best process to get this result that we want. It's no, someone wrote an SOP on a piece of paper 5 years ago while they were doing 2 different meetings and fixing a fire, and that's the process we're following for the past 10 years.
I love this conversation, because there's a lot of talk about psychology. my head's just going wild right now. And even with what you're saying, Marno and Dave, like both of you just highlighted this, like getting to know your customer. There's not making the assumption that all customers are the same. They're not. As far as what they're looking for as a partner, like transform and help them, right? So what I mean by that is, and I do find there is a bit of a pattern. There is a bit of a pattern with the size of a company versus, you know, just maybe it's just someone and their husband, as far as what they're looking for with the solution and someone to lead it would be an extension of their business. Yep. And I mean that in the way that, and you can pick this up on a discovery call. You can, if you study people long enough, then sorry, my background's psychology. I don't know if you guys know that. So,
I don't know, but that's awesome. That's great.
I went from being a psychologist to into AI, but focused on organization psych, so business psychology.
Ooh, okay.
So you know, you'd pick up through the language that the business owner is using, and that is around, you know, they might be like, they want a leader, they want authoritative, they want someone that's like, okay, I'm too busy, you take this ship. But sometimes control is a big thing with a lot of directors. You know, you hear the saying that it's my baby, I can't let my baby go. It's really hard to hand over, you know, to get to make decisions. We're no different. So there needs to be a level of helper, that kind of language, that we're just here to help you and we're not taking away power from the decision maker, from the CEO. So knowing, just kind of tuning in to what your customer, like what kind of energy your customer is going to be very helpful as well to building that relationship, that trust, you know, whether it's pre-sale or even during the journey, does make a big difference too. Just with the partnership and the journey you have as well in working with them.
I like that a lot. Methodology that one of my mentors uses is, think of it like when you go to see a doctor. You don't want to get to the doctor and then the doctor asks you, so what are we doing today? Like, you want to have some sort of leadership, but then he still asks you, okay, how do you feel? Like, you know, when you go there, he's going to lead you into the path of getting healthier or getting better, right? But he has that framework that he's going to use, but you're still a part of it. And I like that mindset a lot, of the Swift of, yeah, definitely don't assume. Like, that could never end well. And yeah, I like that a lot. I'm going to keep playing with that. Thank you for that, Amber.
No, I love the example you just gave as well. Like, that's something everyone can relate to when they go and see a doctor. I think that's fantastic that you put that in there.
Brilliant. Well, lots to think, lots to ponder there around how you can connect with your customers, and that all these solutions, it's all around helping them hit their goals. It's not around the specific technology. AI is just one of the tools in the toolkit, which is what we often say. AI is the tagline. Like, you don't buy a TV that doesn't say it's got AI in it anymore, because you're like, why would I want the one without AI? But at the end of the day, you want to watch TV on it. It doesn't really need AI. That's just a marketing tag that everything has to have the latest badge on it. And so a lot of the business consultants in general are all saying now with AI, because that gets their foot in the door to open the conversation to the actual real problems. So let's dive into a bit of a deep dive for the last few minutes. I just want to take a look at Claude Design, which was released this week in the news. We didn't touch it on the news. I'm going to do a live demo, which is always sketchy because I haven't really used the tool much myself. So we're going to see how that goes.
Okay, good luck. I'm not loving it yet.
Just get into that little beat and then it stops. I feel like
Matrix.
I feel like Party Parrot doing the little. All right, we are going to play with Claude Design. Have any of you used it at all? Marno, you said you've used it. You're not loving it?
I've killed all my tokens already. Used it yesterday morning.
You've killed all your tokens already.
Yeah.
All right, let's. I don't know how many tokens you get on it. Like, you do get, it does limit it. It does do something.
It's a separate token usage. So part of the same subscription, but it's a separate token completely.
Okay.
And I maybe had it for 45 minutes and it was done.
Okay. Well, I barely touched it. I did try and get it to do one design system earlier, But we're going to do one for the show, for AI operators. So I've taken the blurb off the live YouTube channel. So I'll go and grab that there.
Mm-hmm.
And I've put out the logos and the blue node background that we have behind us in there as part of the brand. That's all I've given it. And so we're going to continue to generation. Because, I mean, we don't have a heap of branding done for this particular channel.
Okay.
5 minutes? No, don't take 5 minutes. I don't have that time. This is why in cooking shows they say, here's one we prepared earlier. I didn't do that. I thought it would... AI is so fast now, and I'm not giving it a lot to do. Anyway,
we can discuss the go-to-market thing that you wanted to talk about.
Well, we were discussing that in the last bit a little bit, so I'm kind of cool there. Like it's good to think about how you get in front of customers and what you do there, and it's easy to build lots of things. I'm really good at building lots of things. How do you get it out there? And if we can give agents MasterCards, maybe I can actually get an agent who's really good at marketing and advertising and can buy some ads for me. Maybe that's the trick. I need advertising agent. Because things like that are outside of my wheelhouse. We talk about engineering and you need the special knowledge to be able to engineer things. When it comes to paid ads and stuff, I'm like, I don't want to waste money buying the wrong ads or doing the wrong things. And so I don't buy anything. And so I don't do enough advertising or marketing in that sense because I'm worried about wasting money doing it wrong. So I need the agents that have that knowledge. But how do I know the agents have the right knowledge? Because I don't have the knowledge. It's that expert concept, not just a human, but an expert guiding it. And which, a lot of designers are probably going to say about these tools like Claude Design, like they're not designers.
Well, that's pretty good. Like, I mean, the challenge I gave it was trying to build a website because, as you're aware, I'm busy doing the rebranding into adaptive AI solutions. And it gave me some cool stuff, but it's no real different to just using Lovable. Like, I don't see the difference there at all. Or even bypass Lovable, go to its core and look at the Claude's Anthropic's GitHub. They've got a front-end design skills. Give that the Claude code, same result. Like there's nothing really that unique or special sauce about it. I would advise on the marketing thing, advise against just giving it some money and then getting it to market for you.
I know.
Okay, cool. I feel like, especially as we move into more AI, it's about becoming more human. Like it should be forcing us and getting us excited about becoming more human. So just make the better content, like talk to people, build businesses that matter.
The Claude Design thing, and you're saying it's not that different to other things. I think this is that example. We did touch on it at the end of last week, and we need to spend more time over the next few weeks talking about harnesses and the fact that companies like Claude, the model is less of a differentiator as new open source models and things come out. So they need to think about what are the tools they wrap around their models that make you want to use them more than anything else. Because you're right, from a design skills point of view, there's tools like this one, which I've used, which is a skill that you can put into the Claude code, and it really helps your AI to deliver much better looking websites than just sort of it would otherwise. So like I use that skill to help build my chart reporter website. And I use things like remotion skills in order to build these little animations, which was really cool. And even static screenshots, like remotion generated these. So I got high fidelity little screenshots rather than trying to take dodgy screenshots off my app. But this was, I got that UI UX Pro Max to help Claude build this website for me, which was pretty cool.
I think an interesting one, just making me think about Blake again, the first principles. The one thing that I took away from that course out of everything else is just the 80-20 rule that rings true. It's like if you spend 80% of the time planning, like sharpening your axe, you're going to get a better result. And that is something that is liberating to know, but then also a pain in the ass, because especially there for the marketing, for the website, I don't want to do more websites. I don't care about the design. Just make it look pretty. But I have to spend the time writing the copy, understanding messaging, understanding their positioning, the customer psychology. What's the website feel? Like spend a couple hours planning instead of just trying to vibe code a website that I know I'm going to hate because I didn't put in the work. I think that rings true even in Claude Design. So we're expecting these tools to just remove the pain points, but it still requires effort.
It does. Great points, Marno. And people don't realize that. Like they think like, oh, magic wand, let's go, but you still need to train it and educate it and point it in the right direction.
Just because you've been giving Blake so many shout outs, we should let people know if they want to know who this Blake guy is. Go to school.com and look up Claude Code Architect, and you'll see Blake there. This is a free school community that he has with all this content that everyone is talking about. So shout out for Blake there. Go to school.com and check out Claude-Code-Architect. That is how.
Good. You've got 1,000 members now. Damn, that grew quickly. Good man.
Yeah, he's
Happy for
obviously
him, yeah.
providing good value for people. How is this going? It's added a subscribe button. It added share episodes. Now the preview
Curious.
cards.
While we wait for that, Dave,
Sorry?
while we wait for that, what's everyone's favorite book at the moment? What's everyone reading?
I'm reading Diaries of a CEO.
Oh.
I like picking that up.
It's a good book. Are you listening to it while reading to it, or do you just read it on a physical copy?
Yeah, read it. I always pick up a book every, I have a few books going, but that's the book I picked up this morning.
Nice. No, it's a very good book. Again, fundamentals. It always comes down to fundamentals and incentives, and like getting your buckets right that he talks about. It's like, why do you do what you do, and how do you make sure like you don't really burn out by making sure you take care of yourself? But the principles out of that book is awesome.
Yeah, I like how he talks about obligation. You make a promise to yourself that you're going to do X, Y, Z. And I think like if you're consistent of doing the one thing, like his thing that moved the needle was just doing content. 8 o'clock at night, he would just do an hour, and just showing up online was the thing that made the difference of, getting nowhere. So Dave doing ads, there's but it's, there's enough skills and experience in our community, in our AAA community, that there would be someone, I think someone actually even said there yesterday that there was someone that knows someone in ads. I think, Matt, it was you actually. So I honestly just feel so blessed to be connected to so many talented individuals that, with AI and our AI community, like we really don't have any, like there's no reason for us to succeed. We just got to, I guess, reach out to help, for help and help each other out.
100%. I like the idea of like the PayPal Mafia, if you guys are familiar with that, which is a bunch of people that got together and built awesome things. And then the other week I was talking to my missus, telling her about the valuation of OpenAI, the valuation of Anthropic, and putting in perspective that she works for a train company, and that train company is nationwide. It's a massive business, right? Like everywhere you go, you see it. And that company is evaluated at like 200 million, which is a substantial amount of money. Like that's ridiculous. And then when I told her that OpenAI is at, I think, 830 billion, then she's like, well, that's amazing. But like, why aren't you a billionaire? If that's so much money in AI, I'm like, damn it. Like, what a humbling thought of like, yeah, well, we got no excuse. Like we have all the tools. It's just about like eliminating the noise, trying to keep up with everything. Just pick something that you want to sell, find a problem that you care about, own that problem, and just keep putting out content, keep putting in the work and making people aware of like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. So trying to, take that Steve Jobs approach of 20% noise and 80% signal. And then how do you find exactly that, what you said there was like, what's going to move the needle?
Yeah.
What task am I doing today that's going to make me move a little bit closer to the end goal, rather than me just doing busy work, like confusing movement with progress,
That was the pineapple analogy. Literally kind of what you just said was removing the noise. Like, it's uncomfortable, and AI is kind of, even when you hold it, it's like comfortable, scary. You wouldn't have it. Like, it's just, what do you do with it? It's just too much.
Yeah, 100%.
But if you remove the noise, you remove the outer layer, and you cut it up into little bits, it's actually really juicy inside. It's really enjoyable. So I think if we can just, just fine tune into one little juicy bit by cutting it up and removing the noise, then happy days.
I love it. What problems do each of you own, if you don't mind me asking?
What problems do we solve for our customers?
Yeah. So what would your customers see as like, if they have a problem, this is the problem that they come to you to? What is that?
So for me, it's I sell time. So with the teachers, they've got the workload crisis, and they don't have enough time to do everything that they need to do, all the admin before they even step into the classroom. So for me, it's time. I'm selling time.
Yep.
So, and for myself, Marno, so I have another company, Lead to Care, which is for NDIS. So I've been the NDIS specialist for nearly a decade now. And so basically working out, whether things aren't working, I know basically an NDIS operations better sometimes than the director. So it's basically making sure everything's talking to each other, but more so having leads not slip away. I really focus on the marketing and sales side, that customer journey, so automating that. But then there's always a compliance side. But anything to do with NDIS, from the finance right through to the compliance to the customer journey, I basically automate, tidy that up, and make a NDIS provider business grow. Increase their margins basically.
Fascinating. That's an awesome space to be in. Yeah. That's great. I asked the question because I'm still trying to find exactly. I would say I sell time too, but I want to get more specific on like what's the niche, like what's the thing that I care about. For now, I guess it's getting back to what matters. I don't have the specific word of what that is yet, but it's getting back to what matters. Working with service-based businesses, not massive businesses, just small to medium, where they're tired of doing everything all the time, wearing 10 different hats, like teaching them how to use tools to make life a bit easier. Whatever that looks like at this point is bloody awesome. I just need to find a specific like one-liner or elevator pitch of I help service-based businesses go from stress to success, whatever that is, like, but yeah, I love it. I love the game of just understanding businesses better, understanding how there's so many businesses that they're succeeding, like they're making millions. And then, like you said, Amber, like you look under the hood, you start doing the audit or the gap analysis, and you're like, holy crap, like how did you get your 5 Excel spreadsheets and Gmail account? But they make it succeed. They keep putting in the work. So then upgrading them from Excel and like their like poor systems or lack of proper systems, giving them the right business systems and then connecting them, and then you're sweet, you're smicko.
Yeah.
Looks like the design has been completed. But the question about what are you reading? I'm reading B1 of Zero. That's by Carla Murphy, and it's about why the obsessed always win. So. And so when I picked up that book, I was like, I want to be obsessed with helping teachers. So secondary teachers, that's what I'm obsessed with. Okay, David, how did it go?
Well, yeah, you guys were all deep in thought. I didn't want to interrupt with what was going on with the design system. But while you were having that chat, it does look like it has come through and created a website. I didn't even say create a website. I said create a design system, which it went through and then gave me like confirmation. And I just said, yep, everything looks good. Because I'm just, saying yes to everything at the moment. Looks good. Yep, that's good. And it's created this whole system and then created a website for us that I didn't even ask it for, which is actually pretty cool. It's on tone, it's on theme, it's used the colors, it's used the logos. I don't hate it. Like, we don't actually have a proper full website for the podcast yet, so maybe I've got a starting point now.
Wow, yeah, it's looking really good.
So that's Claude Design.
And then get a branding kit. So get just so you have a document that has all the colors. So whenever you go to create more things, you can keep it consistent.
Yeah, so it's got that all in here. So it's got the README, and here's my colors: operator blue, cyan accent, navy stage, chrome white,
so
fonts.
Grab that and have it in a one pager, because you'll need that one pager when you build other things.
Well, given the way the AIs work, right? The whole point is you give it the system. I think that's what they're saying. So here's the README, here's the skill that actually tells it how to use it all. And so this is actually built for agents, not just agencies, UI kits, previews, assets, like a whole box and die. So when you say one page, Amber, what do you mean that's different from this? Because this is this is like, it's all plain text. But
It's a one-pager in Markdown, Amber.
yeah,
If you were to build on something else, for example, just say if another tool came out, you weren't going to build on Claude, then you would have that just a one page, you just chuck on and just say, build me this, blah, blah, blah. It's good to, like, when I'm experimenting with different things, not that I spend much time on it, because I just, obviously Claude just has the, shiny things.
Yeah.
It's good to just have that one page. I just chuck that one PDF in and say, give it the prompt.
Yep.
And I can compare it really quickly within 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Just seems like you're not giving the same.
Well, that's what that README is. So I would download that stuff off Claude Design and then have it so I could throw it at any AI. But while we're discussing that in the background, I also, before the show, got Claude Sonnet to go and summarize all the transcripts of all the episodes so far, to do an overview for a pitch deck if we wanted to try and get sponsors and advertisers for this particular show. And then I just threw the branding kit that I just created, and I threw that sort of summary pitch thing that Sonnet wrote for me. And we now have a 9-page deck that is just created with me for pitching to get
Wonderful.
sponsors for the show. So, whether it's creating websites or creating decks or other things, these are some things. Because previously, for this sort of stuff, I'd go to something like Gamma. I've been using the Gamma app. But Gamma very much likes Gamma's own themes and stuff. And if you haven't built your own themes and customizations, Gamma's very Gamma-y, which doesn't fit for everyone. If you want a traditional PowerPoint-y style presentation, that's actually much easier and cooler to get it on brand.
Yeah. Thank you for that, because I've got a use case for that. And I was actually going to use Gamma, but now I'm going to check that one out.
Yeah. So Claude.ai/design, new tool this week. There you go. You've seen it live show, nothing pre-prepared. There we go. It's cool. It's got a purpose. It's got a use case. I saw Nate Herkelman doing some stuff with it on YouTube, doing live video edits where he's was moving his video across and putting up like dynamic text during a video thing. So he was using that, another tool called Hyperframes. But anyway, always more things to play with than we have time. That's why, like you said, what is the one thing you're spending your time on? I am guilty of being a goldfish and trying to spin all the plates because I don't know which one the money's going to fly out of. So I'm like, I need to spin all of them versus just focusing on the one or two things and really going deep in that. I mean, that's why I've spent a lot of time on Chart Reporter this week, getting that out and doing MCPs and things like that, because I think I need to focus on that beyond all the business consulting stuff, because that's a broader, longer term play. Again, goldfish.
It's hard, man. I mean, like Alex Hormozi, I'll say this, then I have to head off because I've got another meeting to get ready for. But he's got a saying where he said, all of them could work, but none of them will work unless you work on the one. Like, there's so many opportunities, especially with AI. You can do voice agents, you can do text agents, you can do web graphic design, you can do business consulting. But none of them is going to work unless you just choose one and make that the one that works. Like, you have full power to then choose, okay, this is going to be the one, and you just work relentlessly until it's a success, and then review after 6 months, but at least give it 6 months of just pure work.
Yeah. And that's why the obsessed wins. Be obsessed with one thing.
Agreed.
So you mean the fact that on my other machine at the moment I've got Cowork trying to build a video game for Steam is probably a bad plan?
Yeah, that's not a good idea, unless that's what you want to do. But that's why I'm spending the past probably 2.5 weeks really not doing any more work. It's just doing existing clients and trying to get clear on who am I, what do I want to do for the long term, and what actually energizes me, rather than it's just for a paycheck.
Love that.
Yeah, what your purpose, right?
Exactly, purpose. Yeah.
Brilliant.
The infinite game.
Well, what a way to end. Think about your purpose, focus on that, and AI is an accelerator in helping you do that thing and use it accordingly. Good news, my headache's gone. What a great show. You guys cleared my headache up. You've made my head hurt in different ways now, as I think about my own personal success. But thank you, Manjula, for joining us for the first time. Thank you for coming back, Amber. It's a pleasure to have your insights on here. Thank you, Australia and the world, for watching this, and cracking chat. Really enjoyed today. We'll see you all next time.
A wonderful show. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.